So in this unit, we've been talking about cum clauses, which are just clauses that start with the word cum, and it's very particular because these type of clauses require you to have a verb in the subjunctive mood. And we've been focusing on the pluperfect subjunctive, which comes from the third principal part. So if we were to come from like amo, amare, amawi, amatum, it doesn't fit, but just assume it's there. It comes from your third principal part, where you would take off the I, so you would be left with A-M-A-V, add your little pluperfect ending so far, because this is what we have, and then you will add your ending of MST mustisant. And you would translate it just as an indicative pluperfect. So this M, meaning my subject is I, ise, meaning had, and this amav, loved. And so that's what we've been focusing on, is this pluperfect subjunctive. Now today we're going to be talking about a second type of subjunctive that you will see in cum clauses. So let's talk about those. So we've been talking about the pluperfect subjunctive, which is, as I just wrote down, would be the we say, and then you ending, which would translate to had, loved. Today we will not be talking about the pluperfect tense of the subjunctive, but the imperfect tense. Now, the imperfect tense is another one of my particular favorites because the imperfect just never does me wrong. So when you're doing the imperfect subjunctive, imagine we're writing down the verb forms amo, amare, amawi, amatum. Well, this is the best part if you ask me. You go to your second principal part, A-M-A-R-E, and then you add an ending. And then you stop. And this is your imperfect subjunctive. So this would be I was loving. So the imperfect subjunctive is nothing but your infinitive plus an ending of OST mustisant. Let's see how it's used out in the wild. Alright, here's my sentence. Cum dormirem infans regavit. I recognize here as my cum clause because I have a verb and cum. But in my no realize, my main part of my sentence is infans regavit. The baby cried. So if I were to translate this, I have to figure out first, what type of subjunctive is it? Is it in the imperfect or is it in the pluperfect? Since I don't see isse, I know it's not pluperfect. So I'm going to translate in the imperfect using the imperfect tense, which is was, ing form of the word. So cum in a cum clause is always translated as when. So when dormirem, I was sleeping, infans regavit, the baby cried. Let's do another one. Alright, let's look at my sentence. So I see two verbs. I see consumerent and I see intravit. And I see a comma, so I'm just going to go ahead and split my sentences right here. So I have this whole sentence right here. For cubiculum intravit, my verb. So my subject of intravit is going to be fur. So the thief entered cubiculum, the bedroom. And now I have a verb in the subjunctive, consumerent, and a cum. So I'm seeing this as a cum clause. So cum consumerent. When I see a cum clause, I know cum is going to be translated as when. And then when we look at consumerent, we have to figure out if it's pluperfect or imperfect. I actually see my infinitive right here, consumere, to eat, and then I see my endings. So this is the imperfect subjunctive. So when they were eating, and who was they? The subject. When the guests, consumerent, were eating, canam, dinner. And then you have your main idea. The thief entered the bedroom. So let's see if we can see them in our reading today.